Where are you going?
Out.
Oh, no, you're not. You're not going out of the house dressed like that.
What's wrong with the way I look?
Oh, please.
Why do you always have to put me
You're
down?
such a pretty girl. I don't understand.
I look good. My friends think I look good.
Friends, you mean those punks you've been hanging
You don't
around.
even
I
know
know enough
them.
about them to know that.
Whoa.
Don't you dare. I don't even know you anymore. You're like a stranger. You don't talk to me.
That's because you never listen to me.
My world is inside of me. Inside me, there are colors, there are wonders, there are hopes and dreams. But you want to see the outside of me.
Hey, man. I ain't gonna hurt you, man.
Through the voice of change, let me speak to your mind.
I get on the honor roll. I score high on my SATs. The good stuff never makes the front page. No, I'd have to shoot somebody to get on the front page.
Through the voice of a new way, let me speak without fear.
But she doesn't understand. It's completely different being a teenager now than it was in the 60s. I know my mom still treats me like I'm 10 instead of 17.
When I saw them fighting, I tried to break it up.
One more word out of you and you're expelled for the rest of the year. Understood?
Through the voice of love, let me speak to your heart. Let me speak.
We don't talk. We scream at each other.
It's my life, not hers.
Zero tolerance. You fight, you are out.
No one cares what I have to say.
Nobody cares. What's the point?
I've got to make a living. I can't be there all the time.
They don't have time for me. We just don't connect.
I just want the best for her.
It's like nobody's listening.
Nobody's listening!
To have communication, then one thing is a must. I need 100% of your trust. That's how you earn my respect. We need to get it in check. We need to trust one another before our future is wrecked.
Can you let me lead the way? Trust me, I won't lead you astray. Come on. Won't you let me lead the way?
We want the responsibility, but I don't think y'all give us the amount of trust that we need to get to go through with it. I think we're gonna fight. I know y'all supposed to be there for us, but I mean, sometimes you just have to let go and just see what happens.
You definitely have to earn trust. I think that if adults were open with youth as well as youth being open with adults, they can see that mutual area. And when you see that mutual area, I think you'll be more willing to trust. If you know that, if you can go and talk to your parent and they're not going to look down on you for a mistake that you made, but they can talk to you about it, what are the pros and the cons, of the situation.
If we are able to get these kids to trust us, begin to retrust adults, then I think that we have a chance. So many of these kids have tremendous stories in their past that they are just dying to talk to somebody. And if the adults in their lives can be able to listen, and not listen just, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but to be real empathic about that.
Why, You gotta listen. I mean, really listen. Not just with your ears, but with your heart and your soul.
How do you feel when somebody doesn't listen to you?
And you are just saying like how you feel, telling them, and they're like, oh, what was that again?
But then they expect you to listen to them. So if you're constantly listening to someone else and no one's listening to you, then it's constant lashing, and you're never healed. You never can get what you need to say, so that just brings you down further.
Also, in some cases, you feel that inferior, that, it really didn't matter at all, or, your thought wasn't really important, that somebody, pay attention to. So I can imagine how hurting it is when you find out that no one listened to what you say.
Do you feel it's important that people listen to what you have to say?
if they don't listen to you, then you're not going to want to listen to them, and that's the whole communication breakdown.
The main conflict I can see, if I observe, is just basically there's a breakdown in communications with between adults and the youth. One being that a lot of times we talk at and to the youth as opposed to getting some input from them first. I think they have the answers, the youth. We created a problem as adults. So if we would do more listening and less talking, then I think we can come to a common ground.
If adults can kind of sit back and say, okay, what do you want to tell me? How can I listen with my heart and my spirit and really understand you? Then they'll be surprised at what they hear, and they'll also be both respectful of young people and also respectful of adults because it's really all here.
What you looking at? Billy picked a fight with Johnny, said he looked at him weird, but that really ain't the deal because Billy's in fear. Johnny looking at Billy weird really isn't the source. His father beats on his mother and now she wants a divorce.
Lying all the time. That's all you do is lie. You're always
Most people who fight, they don't realize what they actually was fighting over until it's over with. I'm sitting here beating you up and I don't even know what I'm beating you up for.
I get angry when I'm afraid, and it can be pretty hidden fear, but if I spend some time and think about it, it's basically that. Fear of losing something. For instance, reputation or respect, or you can apply it to any situation.
Like when my dad gets mad at me, you know, he be throwing stuff at me, and I just act like if it never happened.
When one person is trying to control another person, you know, nobody likes that, and it really makes them afraid.
In my opinion, anger, when people gets me like mad, or certain times I can like control my emotions. But in other certain times when people get me frustrated or really angry, I would just raise hell, you know, and I would just attack the person, emotionally or physically.
The behavior that many of these kids show is their way of dealing with the conflict. And that conflict really is the internal conflict. What do I do? How do I behave? What is expected of me? And if they haven't had previous help being not professional help, but help from the family, so to speak, then they don't have that idea on how to behave and what to do with all of that stuff.
Conflict. It's a part of life.
What you looking at?
Who's right? Who's wrong? Who started the fight? Who's telling the truth and who's telling the lies? Who wins, who loses, who lives?
One more word out of you.
And who dies? And there's got to be another way. Why does it have to be like this? Why is it them against us? Why can't it be we, all of us together? Why can't everybody win?
We know there's a problem, but there's not being anything done. I mean, this is like in my school. We want to do things, but we're not given the responsibility that we need to do them.
What happens where you are, it's everywhere. We see it all over the place, and we're talking about people in your age bracket, and the fact of the matter is that it all revolves around the school in America. It really does. So jump on it. Let us know. Tell us.
Tina started talking about it when she started talking about going and getting training. She has been to peer mediation camp. She went back to school, and they will not let her use any of that. She has gone back. She knows what to do. She's been trained. But the adults won't let her use her training.
You're supposed to think that they're there to help you. And sometimes I don't think they are.
We're going to play a game called Devils and Angels. And Tika is going to be serving as a peacemaker. And Brandon's going to be her angel, sitting behind her, giving her reasons to stay out of a fight. Meanwhile, Gwen here is going to try to instigate and start a fight. Beth is her devil standing behind, giving really good reasons why she should get into this fight.
Because I'm the teacher here in this situation, and I say what behavior gets good grades in my class and what doesn't. And you are not behaving in a way that gets good grades in my class.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Good behavior is.
Yeah, what is good behavior? I'm saying that I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just not sure how sorry you are. I need some help on this.
She's being a smart aleck.
You're being a smart aleck in class.
You're going to get her suspended if she doesn't watch it.
Just like right now, you stand up here talking to me in a way that, you know, you have no business talking to me like that. And, you know, I can get you suspended for that. You should know how you're supposed to behave in my class.
So what do I do if the grade book says that I have all 100s and I have a 90 on my report card?
Help.
What I saw between she and Gwen was really, Gwen in a power position and wanting to maintain that power, and the stomping point came when Tika said, "But I've got my records," and Gwen was up, you know.
It's like the board or the principal, it just gives them, it's just like they can say whatever they want to and just talk to us any kind of way, and we're supposed to sit there and just accept it. And if we go to the principal and we talk about it, we're always in trouble. They're never wrong because it's their classroom, it's their domain.
The way in which to solve a problem is to sit down and communicate about the different perspectives on that problem and see if there is a way to accommodate the concerns of each party. That's what mediation is about, and it is empowering people to solve and resolve their own conflicts.
It's the Jew boy. What's up, man?
Hey, my yarmulke, give it back. Come on, man.
In the schools, on the streets, in our homes, you can feel the tension start to rise. It builds and it builds till it blows up in our face. Put peace and love in this place. Put your attention on prevention, save the human rights.
What do you think we should do?
In groups, we all see each other's side, and I don't understand why there can't be more of this out in the public. You know, we got invited to this, but this is very few. Knowledge is the power, and if we can get the knowledge out there, that's what's going to make everything better. Because if people don't know, if those adults that are over in their group talking about their stuff, if they don't know that we feel the same way, then they're not going to know. But if you just stick two groups together, you need a mediator, like you and Bill. We need a mediator to say, yeah, listen, they know what you're talking about, and they know what you're talking about. And we need the knowledge. And that's where we're going to empower ourselves.
My objective was to get a peace and agreement between the two groups or people through mediation and discussion.
We want to start with the students and the administration. That means everybody that goes under their title, like the teachers, the principal, the coordinators, everybody. And some of our objectives are everybody needs counseling, everybody. Not just them, us too. And we don't have a counselor, so we need, just as a start, we need a person to come in at least once a week. That's all we ask for.
We have over 300 students from 39 countries, but mostly they are separated. The Laotian are together, the Spanish speaking together, and they are not mixing much with the American. Not that they have any conflict, but they are not really mixing. So our objective is to bring them closer to each other.
But that's what violence prevention is all about. It's about creating these kinds of partnerships across different groups that maybe in the past have had difficulty communicating with one another. And it's once the systems start working together, once people that often don't get along can start a conversation with one another, that's oftentimes the point at which the iceberg begins to move and you begin to see a little bit of change.
So where do we go from here? It's up to you, and it's up to me. It's up to him and her, and you over there, and you, and you. All of us together, young and old, one by one. We can make a wider circle, and in that circle, there's room for everybody. Because everybody has something to say, and everybody needs, and everybody deserves to speak and be heard.
Through the voice of change, let me speak to your mind. Through the voice of a new way, let me speak without fear.
love, let me speak to your heart.
Let me speak and be heard.
Let me speak and be heard.
Through the voice of change, let me speak to your mind.
Through the voice of a new way, let me speak without fear.
Through the voice of love, let me speak to your heart.
Let me speak and be heard. Let me speak and be heard. Let me speak and be heard. Let me speak and be heard.
Oh yeah, check it out. Through the voice of love, let me speak to your mind. Through the voice of love, check it out one time. I'm digging it up, I'm digging it down. In the hood, in the town, be cool in your heart. That's where love is found. Jump up, do what you know is right. We're not the enemies no more. Check it out, that's right. Oh yeah.
Let me speak and be heard. Let me speak and be heard. Let me speak and be heard.